What's up, everybody? This is BS for Build. I'm Chris. We're back working on the rear quarter panel of the BRZ. Not gonna lie, I would really love if this was the last episode about this rear quarter panel of the BRZ. We've got everything lined up, dead flush. Everything's in the right spot that it needs to be. The only problem is the new quarter panel skin's got a little bit too much material on some spaces. We're a little far over here and over here, which is a good thing. We aim to go a little bit extra rather than come up short. And then we got a little bit extra on the top rail, which I didn't really expect. So we're going to be trimming about 1/8 of an inch off the top rail, 1/8 of an inch off the side, and probably a full inch off the bottom here. Then we got some zinc weld through primer that we're going to be able to use so we don't get it rusting from the inside out. Thank you to the commenter that recommended that. I wasn't thinking that way in my head, and it's a really smart thing to think about. So what we're going to be doing is trimming this thing, prep the whole surface to be welded on and get ready, and then hopefully we're going to get this thing in place and weld it up and wrap up this quarter panel in this episode. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we've got everything but the top rail trimmed up and ready. I'm going to do that once I pull this off. So what I did was I went around with the paint marker and I marked every spot that we need to grind the paint off of so we can make sure that we got direct metal to metal contact. So that's like all of these holes around here, and then on the skin on the inside we got to do a lot of paint scraping to get all the paint off of there. So lots of prep work is going to go into this. I'm going to hit it all with that wire wheel and just get a lot of this paint off, so when we go to weld we'll have a direct metal to metal contact patch. Alright, well it probably looks like nothing has happened, but it's actually been like 2 or 3 hours. And what I've done is gone down and ground through all the paint around the holes that I'm going to want to weld around on the outside of this panel and on the inside of the frame. We trimmed this upper rail, we trimmed this part, we trimmed this part, and we did a little bit of work on the back of there. And so now it's completely ready to be welded on here. The only thing that we have left is, oh actually I need to slam out a dent in there too. The biggest thing that we have left is applying the zinc primer. You want to do the zinc primer in between the frame and the outer panel. So you want to sandwich it in between there. The interesting thing about zinc primer is it's really good to be in between those those two pieces of metal, but it's not good to be anywhere that you're going to try and paint because it does not have a good adhesion qualities. So what we need to do is get it in between the two pieces of metal, but not get it like on the outside. So up here on the roof rail and on this back rail, that's going to be real interesting. But with enough masking, anything is possible. So I have to do some serious masking work, and that's going to be a pain in the ass, but I'll just get on it now and get it done with quickly. Well, I don't know what it is with me and mallets, but I don't seem to have very good luck with them. It's the second one I've actually broke on this car. So I guess that's going to have to be as dent corrected as it's ever going to be. Jesus. Alright, with that, we're done for today. That was my chores for the night. Come back tomorrow, and I'll have the whole day to weld this baby up. I'm very excited. I need to remember, if you guys watch on film, this car's got to be on the ground, 4 wheels on the ground when I weld it. Don't let me forget, even though that's going to be impossible unless you have a time machine. I'm going to feel really stupid now if I start welding it like that. What's up guys, we're back in the shop. It's cold as hell, don't know why. Hashtag spring. So we're going to take that outer skin, we're going to throw it on here, and we got a bunch of different clamps. We got some C-clamps, some kind of vice grippy type clamps and everything, and we're going to start clamping it in places that we can to get it in the right spot. Then my game plan is while the car is up, I'm going to actually weld the bottom because that's the only time I'm going to be able to get under there, and then we'll set the car down on all 4 and let the chassis do its like flexing and settling and stuff. Then we'll put it on the get the top realigned, I guess, if it does flex, and then we'll weld it all back up. So, lots of welding in store. pretty much finished up spot welding the top rail and the seam. So these welds suck, but I never claim to be an expert. I'll grind these down, but they do have coverage. This thing's stuck on here. It's not going to come off on accident. The seam looks pretty bad. And then on the inside here of the rail, I just did tacks every ways, and then I'll use seam sealer for the rest of this stuff. I know it'd be good to get it in the middle of this, but... So on the back, I'm not finished quite yet here. I have to do the other sides of these holes. It's kind of interesting what I'm doing with the hole is I'm kind of starting a bead in the middle on the frame because it's a little bit harder to heat up, and then I move it out to the outside and push it to this piece of metal to get it to connect, and then I'm doing it, coming back after it's cooled and doing it on the other side. So a little bit more work to do down here. Got to get this metal to match up. Got a seam seal underneath here, inside here, and around here, and then we'll move over to the bottom. So it's a little bit time consuming, and I'm not good at time consuming things, so I don't have a lot of patience, but it's going good so far. All right, well, we are all welded up. We got the bottom line welded up. You can see I did have to lift the car to get under there at the end. It'll be okay though. This whole thing's not flexing too much other than how I kind of had to flex it originally just to get it in spot. So anyways, everything is welded up. I'd say there's probably like 100-ish welds on this car. And like I said at the beginning, I'm not great at welding. I haven't had a lot of time in practice, so there's a lot of booger welds that'll need to be ground down. There's like maybe 15, 20 good welds on the car. But this is a good project to practice on because you can't see anything that I'm working on. Everything here gets covered up later on, so it doesn't really matter. So next thing I got to do is hit everything with the grinder, grind down my welds, and then start thinking about seam sealer, etching primer, and Bondo for these two spots. Alright, we are done with the grinding stage. I wanted to clarify, I mentioned earlier that only like 10 or 20 of these welds are good. They're all strong and stuck there. What I meant is cosmetically looking pretty and flush and everything, but after all the grinding, doesn't really matter because it's all gone anyways. So that's what we got. Next thing is a little tricky because it's Bondo, etching primer, and seam sealer, and there's a little bit of discussion on the order of how to do those. I'm going to start with some Bondo on bare metal in some spots, then go into seams, then primer, then seam sealer is my guess right now, but I'm going to do a little bit more Googling before I do that. We have gone ahead and applied our Bondo. You can see a little bit up here, a bunch down there, and some over here. I just threw on a generous amount and I'll sand most of it back. A lot of it's going to want to come off. Next thing I've done is taped up some of the car, protect it from overspray. We're going to be spraying the self-etching primer over all of this bare metal. It'll need to be done all down here too, so I've just masked this area off so I can do this area. Then I'll move the masking more to the inside of the car and do that. And then after that, I can hit it with the seam sealer, and then we are done. Alright guys, seam is all sealed up, everything's primered, we're ready to move on to body work whenever we do decide to do that. Finally, I can say that's the end of this quarter panel replacement project. I'm really happy. Thank you guys very much for hanging in there with me. Let me just show you. When we shut the door, our door is sagging a little bit, so you can see the body line isn't lining up here, but when I lift it to line up the body line, we have a nice clean shutting door and a good body line. And this is equal to this over here. So very happy overall with the result of this, and it came together great. It just took a really long time. Thank you guys all very much for watching. You can find us at beadisforbuild.com. You can find us at facebook.com/beadisforbuild. You can find us at beadisforbuild on Instagram. I grinded my hand earlier. I went through the glove and into my finger, and it hurts like a mother. We have the Plan B shirts still on sale. They are limited runs, so they will be out soon. You buy one of these shirts right now and it comes with a free decal, so check that out. Thank you guys all very much for supporting us this far. That's all at our shop at beadisforbuild.com. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Peace.